One of the films on this year's festival programme is Cinetrain, Bishkek to Moscow. The 5-part documentary was shot by an international team of directors. It looks at life in the former Soviet republics and their search for identity 20 years following the collapse of the USSR. And earlier on I spoke to one of the documentary's directors. And I can speak to one of the directors from Cinetrain Bishkek Moscow now. It's Tomas Sheridan. You're from Scotland, and then you find yourself on a train travelling across the former Soviet Union. How on earth did that come about?
There's a kind of network of young filmmakers who, through word of mouth, get around this Cinetrain idea, which was originated here in Moscow by Guillaume Prochenko and Tanya Petrik from Miromir Productions. And they just had this great idea of bringing back this old Soviet tradition from the 1930s of traveling across the whole of the Soviet Union with a big converted train with a processing wagon on it, and basically making very anthropological films along the way. So I think what's happened nowadays in kind of the normal commissioning process, you spend half your time looking for money and half your time trying to make the money back, and you kind of forgotten that in the middle you're actually making a film. So what's great about Cinetrain is that, like, we're really going back to the true enthusiasm of cineasts and cinema lovers who go out there, get the film shot, get the film edited, and the whole thing was like a 4-week process. We only spent about 3-4 days in each place, and to be honest, on each train journey I was kind of reading up on A Lonely Planet, like trying to find out what the next place would be like and trying to get an idea of what would be interesting angles.
Let's talk about your particular film, Radio Stand. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, the idea was based on the concept of neighbours in a kind of broader sense of the word. So these countries which had been part of one bloc suddenly finding themselves with their own nations and constructing their own identities. So my film set out to show the differences between all these ethnic groups which are dotted along this line from Bishkek all the way to Moscow.
Yeah, you went through, well, you started in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, you go through Kazakhstan, yeah, onto Russia, through some of the regions there. What struck you then about the differences? Is there a very marked difference culturally?
Yeah. I mean, like everything, we try to put borders onto it, but really these lines on maps don't define the differences. The differences are shades of color between people who live next door to each other. To be honest, you do need to get people to open up to you and speak about these kind of very deep feelings they have and thoughts they have about their neighbors. You do need an extensive amount of time to break down the barrier of the camera and to create a human relationship with them. My impression was that people had found a way to coexist, and there was a kind of respect for each other, and I put that down to kind of heritage of the Soviet Union, when like people were just like having to live together. There was like this greater kind of structure they had to fit into. Did
you know what to expect when you came on this trip? Did many things surprise you?
Yes, many things surprised me. As I said, I didn't have much time to prepare and research before leaving, and that was probably the best learning curve of the whole experience. It felt like we were accompanying our viewer on the same journey we were on, like discovering these places as we went along.
I think for anybody who's wanted to travel across the Russian Federation, this is a must-see. Yes. Before you do, or maybe you don't even need to after you've done it. But
I think it is a journey in itself, yeah.
It's showing at the Moscow Film Festival. It's already on. Mm-hmm. How long is it going to be running for?
Well, the Moscow Film Festival will be finishing on Sunday, if I'm correct.
Okay, so you've only got a few days to go and catch a look, which I certainly will hoping to do. Thank you very much. It's been great to have you in the studio, my guest, Tomas Sheridan, director of Radio Stand, part of the Cinetrain Bishkek to Moscow.